hang in there with me for a minute or two. I think we still have a minute before we get started. Okay, looks like you should be able to hear me okay. And we're going to go ahead and get started now. I'd like to welcome everyone here once again. We are continuing the series talking about the D.A.M strategy. I hope you've been using the D.A.M strategy because it's very simple, it's very straightforward. While the work that you have to do might not be simple, it might be a lot harder than what you think. It might be a lot harder than what you would like it to be, but it is very straightforward. And the D.A.M strategy consists of three major parts, and we've already talked about one of them, which is one of the most important, and it's the starting point. And the first part of the D.A.M strategy is to what? It is to decide why you want to start speaking well. Okay? It's to decide why you want to start speaking well. That's very important to know why it is you want to start speaking well, because that's what gives you the drive and the motivation and the encouragement you need to hang in there and do whatever you have to do over the long term. And that's really what this is about. It's about having a systematic approach to improving your speech or improving whatever it is that you want to do. It's about having a systematic approach and sticking with that approach over a long period of time. Okay. Now, why is that important? And we'll get into the details of why it's important a little later, but just as a brief overview, that's important because what you are essentially doing is you are developing a new skill. You're building a skill, you're creating a skill. You are developing a new habit, a new pattern of thinking, and a new pattern of behaving. And so whenever you do those things, either one or both of them, you have to hang in there and continue to do the same sorts of things over and over until the new habit or until the new skill has been built, until it's been developed. Does that make sense? So if you give up or if you don't have strong enough motives or reasons why you're doing something, then you won't give yourself, you won't give your body, you won't give your brain the time that it needs to build that skill. Now the second part that we're going to talk about today is the A in the D.A.M strategy. So the first part was to decide why you want to start speaking well. Why do you want to do this? What's your life going to look like? What do you think? What do you want your life to look like once you start speaking well? Right? So it's not about what you want to avoid. It's about what you want to achieve, what you want to grab a hold of when you start speaking well. The second part has to do with the A, and the A stands for affirm your new way of speaking, affirm your new style of speaking. Now, what do we mean by affirm your new style of speaking? Let's talk about the word affirm. When I'm using affirm in this sense, I'm using it to mean two distinct things. One, you're going to affirm your new way of speaking. That is, how do you want to start speaking in the future? And what I've done is given you three distinctive ways that you want to start speaking, and you've seen this written on my site and in various places. More smoothly, more fluently, and more confidently. So how do you want to start speaking in the future? Probably more smoothly, fluently, and confidently, at least, right? Maybe you want to start speaking more clearly, louder, whatever it is. But generally speaking, we all want to be smooth in our speech, we want to be fluent, and we want to be confident. Okay, so what we need to do then is we need to affirm this new style of speaking. We affirm it how? We affirm it verbally, and we affirm it through our actions. Okay, So today we're going to talk about this verbal affirmation. And then next week we're going to talk about the action-oriented affirmation. So you affirm something, that is, you say this is true, this is how I want it to be. You affirm it through your words, through what you say to yourself, and to what you say to others. And you also affirm it through your actions. So you don't just say it, but you also have to do something about it. And remember, we'll talk about the action next week. So this week, let's talk about the verbal affirmation. And you've probably read this and you've heard this, and some of you have tried it, and for some of you, it's worked long term. For some of you, it's worked only temporarily. For some of you, it's only taken you so far. That is affirmations. Affirmations are critically important because, now listen to this, you and I are constantly talking to ourselves. We are constantly having a conversation, if you will, with ourselves. And maybe you don't respond to yourself like, hey, Michael, how you doing? Oh, man, I'm doing pretty good. How are you doing? Well, I'm probably doing all right today. I mean, you might not do that. But you do talk to yourself. You have thoughts. You have sensations. You have feelings. And what generally happens is that we often speak to ourselves in what we call a pessimistic manner. Some people have a pessimistic outlook on life. That is, they tend to look at the negative. They tend to focus on the negative. They tend to think about and talk about the negative. An example is a person that says, well, I've been stuttering for 10 years or 20 years, and I've tried everything, and I don't think that this is going to work. That's a pessimistic view or outlook, okay? Someone that has an optimistic view might say, I've been stuttering for 20 or 30 years, and I have hope that this is going to work. I believe that this can work, right? So that's an optimistic view. Now, let me ask you, let's just say that neither one of those people reach 100% fluency, which people can, but let's say neither one of them reach 100%. But which one of the two do you think will improve, even just a little bit? Let's just say they could reach 80% or 90% fluency, which is absolutely possible within less than a year. Which one of them do you think would reach 90% fluency? Do you think the one that says, I've been stuttering for 23 years and I don't think this is going to work. I mean, I've tried everything and I'll give this a try, but I don't think it'll work. You think that person would be able to achieve 90% fluency? Or do you think the person that says, you know what, I'm going to give this a try. I believe it's going to work. I'm going to work hard and I'm going to make this work because I believe that the foundation that this is based on is pretty solid. So I'm going to try it. In fact, I'm not just going to try it, I'm going to make it work. Which one do you think would be more likely to reach 90% fluency? It's pretty obvious, right? The one that has a more optimistic view of life, one that talks to themselves, that says optimistically, I believe this will work, okay? So what you say to others, as well as what you say to yourself, has a very real impact on your performance. So if you have hope, if you believe that something can work, then you're going to act in a way that reinforces that belief. So if I believe something's going to work, I'm going to spend more time doing it. I'm going to be looking at the positive results. I'm going to look for the benefits. I'm going to look for small improvements as opposed to looking at, well, yeah, I spoke a little better, but not really that much better. Right? Well, I tried this. I've been trying this for 30 days, and it's not working. Right? So the other person says, I've been trying it for 30 days, and I have seen some improvement. So if I try it for 30 more days, I might see greater improvements. Okay, do you see the difference? So the person that believes that this can work is going to act differently. They're going to actually perform differently than the person that doesn't believe. So what you think and what you say to yourself, what you articulate, self-articulate, has an impact, a very real impact on your actions and therefore on your performance, on the results that you get. So, how can we then affirm our new way of speaking? Well, one of the ways that we do this is by actually writing down a set of affirmations, things that you can read, things that you can say to yourself. And these affirmations have a particular structure to them. It's called the 3P formula. You've probably heard me talk about this before. Very important. The first part is first person. Now, sometimes I use second person. I'll use you. I'll say, Michael, you can do this. That's very effective too. Sometimes we need to give ourselves a good talking to. So you can say, you can do this. Or you can say, I. Okay, so first person or second person, I. So that's the first part of this form. The second part is present tense. You are an excellent speaker. Or I am an excellent speaker. Now, some people might say, well, I want to be, I hope I can be, I'd like to be, but I don't think I can be, but I'll try it. That's not an affirmation. An affirmation says, I am an excellent speaker. Now, I know what you're thinking. What if I'm not an excellent speaker? What if I stutter? What if I can't speak well? And then, so then when I try to say the affirmation, I get this resistance. I don't really believe it. You can begin to use a softer form of this, which is, I am becoming an excellent speaker. I am becoming, right? I am becoming an excellent speaker. If, when you say, I am an excellent speaker, there's so much resistance, you simply can't say it. You simply can't believe that it's true. You can say, I'm becoming, because you are working on becoming. So you can use either one of those two. Now, the third part of this, you've already heard me say, is the positive statement at the end. I'm becoming a smooth speaker. I'm becoming an excellent speaker. I am a smooth speaker. I am excellent. I speak fluently all the time. I'm a confident speaker. Whenever I speak, I'm always confident. I always feel great, right? So what you do is at the end, you build in a positive, optimistic statement, okay? And this statement speaks to the style of speaking that you want to attain, that you want to achieve, right? Remember, you decide why. You have some very specific reasons why, what life's going to look like when you start speaking well. And then you affirm how you want to start speaking. So I want to start speaking more smoothly, fluently, confidently. I want to be able to do this and speak here and say this. So you start affirming those things. Now, why is this important? Well, I've already talked about some of the reasons why, but one of the reasons why is to literally counteract the negative thoughts, the pessimistic thoughts that come through our minds. Many of you can attest to anticipating how you're going to perform, how you're going to speak in certain situations. You need to introduce yourself, you need to go order some food, something like that, and you actually will hear or feel yourself saying, oh, I'm going to have problems with that. I'm not going to be able to do that. I'm going to get stuck on this, right? I've had people say that. And as you're going through my program, right, if you are actually going through the coaching or going through the Pro 90D program, because of the sheer repetition, right, of practicing, you may still get those thoughts, but your body will surprise you sometime, right? So you might go into a situation and think, okay, I'm probably going to stutter here, probably going to get stuck, block, or whatever you want to call it. And all of a sudden you're able to say it well. Why? Because you've been practicing. You've been practicing. So even though your mind thinks something, your body actually does something else because you've been training it to do that something else. And that just increases and improves over time. So the affirmations, what that does is it helps to bring your thinking more in sync with what you're actually physically training your body to do, which will bring us to our next session when we talk about the action, the actions that you're supposed to take. Because this isn't just about affirmations, right? There are some actions, some practice, some repetition that you have to do. Many people take the shortcut. They want to take the shortcut. Okay, I can decide why. I can do the affirmations, and that's it. And they only get partial results, no results at all, temporary results. And that's why. Had someone tell me, I was talking to a gentleman a week ago, and we were talking about how, would this program work for him and so forth. And as I always say, if you do what I'm asking you to do, this will work. And he said, well, that's what all you guys say. That, in fact, if we don't get the results that you say, then you guys, meaning the guys who design these programs or therapists or coaches or whatever, say, well, you didn't follow the program. You didn't do it. And so that's why it didn't work. And I didn't get offended. I actually laughed because I said, you're right. We probably do say, well, okay, you didn't get the results because you didn't follow this step-by-step system. But what I want you to know is that this isn't about necessarily following what I say do. This is about you doing what's necessary. Now follow me. Doing what's necessary to build a new skill, to create a new habit. It's not about doing what I say do. It's about doing what your body requires you to do. Aha. Now I'm going to shut this thing down right now because I really want to nail that in. It's about doing what your body, what your brain requires you to do. To do what? I just mentioned it. Develop a new skill or a new set of skills and create a new habit, new habits, new patterns of thinking and new patterns of behaving. So this is very much like developing a second language and making that second language like your first language. It's almost exactly like this. And I'm going to go deeper into this in the Pro 90D Speech System 3.0, which is going to be coming out. I'm going to release it around the same time that I release my mobile application, shortly thereafter, actually. Pro 90D 3.0. We're going to be looking at how what you're doing right now is very much like developing a new language, developing a second language, and actually making that second language like your first, where you're 100% fluent. The steps that you would follow to do that are virtually exactly the same as the steps you need to follow to do this. Okay? We're talking about language, talking about speaking, we're talking about practicing. It's all the same stuff. So, in order for a person to do that, they have to do certain things. They have to do certain things. And there's maybe a lot of different ways to approach it, but there's certain things you absolutely have to do to develop this new skill, this new capacity, this new linguistic capacity. This is no different. So, yes, I've spent time, I've spent money, spent quite a bit of time and money actually coming up with a systematic approach to help you create a new speaking style, to help you become an excellent speaker. So, yes, it is going to be easier and it's going to probably save you time and energy and frustration if you follow what I say do, because I've systematized it. Every coaching client that I have helps make the program better because they share with me things that work with them. And sometimes they'll say, well, sometimes I'll ask them, well, okay, how did you do this? How did you transfer your presentation style to your conversations? Many people struggle with that. How did you do it? I said, I just did what you said. I just practiced this. I tried using my new style with people I know, and then I tried going out and using my new style with other people. I did the presentations, I practiced, and then I tried to use the skills with my family, my friends, and then when I would go out and I just kept trying to use it, even though I failed, I kept trying to use it. I also practiced at least 1 hour a day, about 6 hours a week. So I just did what you said. Every time that's what they say. They say, I just did what you said. And sometimes they add a few little things, but it's always just a slight variation to something that I've already said. So, yes, if you follow the system, you're going to get the results because it's how your body works. It's how our body works. Now, can you get the results some other way? Absolutely. Absolutely. There are other ways to achieve fluency. And there are many other great programs, great coaches out there that can help you do that, as well as speech therapists. If you're coming to me, what you're coming to me for is to not just help you not stutter, but to actually help you become an excellent speaker, to go from wherever you're at to being able to command a room, to command attention, to teach or to train or to present your products or your ideas in a better than average way. Now, how do I know this? Well, many of my clients have gone on to win Toastmasters, do well at Toastmasters. One is even now the president of a Toastmasters chapter. So people that I work with generally do extremely well with their speech. All right, affirm. The A, part of the A, where the A stands for to affirm your new way of speaking. Next week we're going to talk about how you affirm your new way of speaking through your actions. This week we're talking about affirming them verbally, right, by articulating them, writing them down, using the 3P formula. First P stands for what? First person or second person, right? I, or if you want to speak to yourself, you can say you. You're an excellent speaker. You speak smoothly all the time. And if you can't start out with that, you can say you are becoming an excellent, you are starting to speak more and more smoothly every day. Something like that. Very important that you don't use, well, I'd like to, but I can't, or I don't stutter anymore. You can't use the negative, right? So the first part is the first person or second person. The second part of the formula is positive, right? So you can't use not. And the third part, the second part is a present tense. So I am or I am becoming. And then the third part is positive, okay? So you can't say I'm not stuttering. I don't get stuck. That's negative. So your mind focuses on getting stuck. Your mind focuses on what you're trying to avoid as opposed to what you're trying to achieve. Makes sense? So that's where a lot of people go wrong. So you have to use the formula because it really does work. It's very powerful, but it's only part of the system. All right, we're about done. A couple of notes. I want you to join me every week. Share this with your friends. If you haven't followed me already, click the follow me button. Download the D.A.M Strategy free package. I used to sell this. I'm giving this away to you as a viewer for free. Download the PSP, the Personal Strategic Plan, okay, and start working on that. That's really going to help to motivate you. Be looking out for my mobile application. iPhone first, then we'll come out with Android. We'll also be coming out with a Pro 90D Speech System 3.0, which is going to be better than 2.0. I'd like for you to check out the link if you want to take the next step and you want to really get the system, then you need to get the Pro 90D Speech System 2.0. Right, and if you get that, you're going to get an automatic upgrade to the 3.0 when I come out with that. Click the link. It'll take you to my website where you can get that course at a tremendous price that's well worth it. I mean, I don't even have to explain why it's worth it. If you've been studying for any amount of time, you know that if you improve your speech, and this will improve your speech, it has to, because it's how we're designed, right? Has to improve your speech. Then it's going to advance your career. It's going to help you physically, emotionally, psychologically, financially, relationally. It's going to help you in many different ways. So it's always worth it to invest in yourself. You're not investing in me. You're investing in you. So what's $100 some, $200, $300, $400, $500, $1,000, $2,000? What is that when you have to invest in yourself? Now, some people don't have that, and that's why I try to provide a lot of great, hopefully relevant information to help you for free. But for those of you that can afford it, you need to go ahead and invest in yourself. Why? Because it works. I mean, it works. So thank you very much. I want to encourage you to leave your comments. Like this, Facebook it, Twitter it, LinkedIn it, everything. Like it. Leave your comments below, and I look forward to seeing you next week and hearing your questions. If you have a comment or question, I'd like to hear that. I'll see you next week.